Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome to the Black Tax. There's an African proverb that says, a slip of the tongue is worse than a slip of the feet. For a very long time, I did everything in my power to avoid moving to Los Angeles. I wasn't interested. I didn't like it. When I interned at Interscope in the 90s, it was ruckus, unbelievable, but it was something I needed. It was a great lesson. It was an experience that, to this day, laid a foundation about what it was, what the bullshit is, and how to maneuver around it without getting it stuck on your shoe. So when I finally made the decision after 9/11, losing my business when the tower came down and trying to financially get myself back on my feet because it just wasn't, and the music industry had made a major shift with the advent of the iPod, and it changed the way music was now being sold, listened to. The industry was having to go through a complete reorganization in order for it to function. I decided that maybe it was time to make the trek to Los Angeles. So after being bought out of my apartment in New York, I packed up my things and I shipped and found a place and then started my life. Now, as a New Yorker, I keep it real. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to show you when you're disrespectful, what disrespect really is. I'm not going to pretend to ignore your behavior. I don't believe in passive aggressiveness, and I learned quickly that Los Angeles is full of passive aggressive people. And when you check them on their passive aggressiveness, then they get their feelings hurt. And then they start saying things like, oh my God, you're so mean. Why are you so mean? There's no need for you to be that mean to me. And I wasn't being mean. I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm being very direct. If you can't be direct, don't be passive aggressive, because then I'm going to check you on your passive aggressiveness. And as time moved on and I met more people, I started noticing a pattern. I can see through bullshit. Always could, always can, always will. It's a sixth sense that I have. It's something that shows me who you are. And normally in the first 30, 40 seconds of meeting you, there's a vibe, there's a feeling, there's a gut reaction. And when my gut says, proceed with caution, I do. So I try to be myself in all situations. I can be jovial, I can be serious, I can be a combination of the two. And in doing that, I've learned also living in LA that people don't like me. Not because I don't fold, not because I am who I am, but simply because I am who I am. And I realized the time I've spent living in Los Angeles, people don't like me. And it's not that I've done anything to them. It's the mere fact that I've been myself. So I was talking to a friend who is now a coach, and she said, I shouldn't say people don't like me because when I put that out in the universe tends to answer the verbal request that you say, that your words have power. And I said to her, I'm just pointing out the obvious. It's clear. So she sat with that for a few days, and then she came back and she said, I was sitting and I was sipping some tea and it just came to me. And I was like, what came to you? Your problem about people not liking you. And I was like, okay, here we go. So let me get this psychoanalysis done and over with. And she says, no, there's no analysis here. It's just an observation. Potato, tomato, all the same thing. And she said, you hold up a mirror and your reflection is how you walk in the world. You present who you are. You don't move off it. In the time that I've met you, in the time that I've known you, the person that I met is the same person I met today. And I said, I have friends who I've known for 30, 40 years, and they'll tell you the man they met when I was 18, the character at 18 is the same character today. Now, that's not to say I haven't had moments of growth or I haven't grown, but I have. But my foundation is unbroken or unmoved. So I was like, okay, well, that's an interesting observation to see. And she said, well, it's because you have put yourself on such a pedestal of principle that when people have to measure themselves up against you in your pedestal of principles, they fall short. And that falling short makes them feel insecure. That insecurity makes them understand that you can expose their fakeness at any moment, at any time. And having that level of power is never good for them. And I was like, wow, that's a new perspective, but it also makes sense. I don't really care who you are, how you present, why you present, what your pronouns are. None of my business. Because I'm always going to ask, are you happy? Does this life you chose fulfill you in a way that needs to be fulfilled? And many of us, and even moments in myself, it isn't. But what I also learned is that every moment is another moment that makes you a better person. Every moment teaches you that you can stop what you are today and do something different that opens up a better tomorrow for you. You're not bound by the story you tell yourself or tell others. You're bound by you being yourself. And if people can't accept who you are, but they like the person you pretend to be, eventually those two are going to become chasms far apart from each other, and you won't recognize who you were and who you're trying to be. LA is very smoke and mirrors. It is very fake and phony. It is very pretend. The flossing, what you got, what you don't have, why you have it, what you're doing. I had a friend who's more of an associate say to me when I first moved to LA that I had to buy an entry-level luxury car. And I was like, that's not going to happen. I'm going to buy a car that fits my budget. I'm not going to buy a car just to say I have a Mercedes or I have a Lexus. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting myself in such debt just to play a part. I'm going to get a Nissan Sentra and I'm going to roll around in that brand new car like everybody else has who's had it for 200,000 miles. Well, I've only had mine for 25,000, but I'll come back to that later. Remember, you get to be what you want, but because you have to decide what you want, you have to have a foundation to build upon that. And pretending to be something you're not always catches up with you. I'm a simple guy. I'm not a big label guy, though some would say I am. I can go to Banana Republic and buy everything I need, go to Gap, get some casual shit, buy some Nikes, some Reebok, some New Balance, get a hoodie, jacket, coat, whatever, and be just as happy as if I went and spent thousands of dollars on a coat from Gucci or I decided I wanted to get Christian Louis Vuitton shoes or boots. It's all the same shit. Can't take it with you. So why spend the money to pretend to be something that you're not? I want you guys to remember that character is important. I've said this before in my podcast, and I will continue saying it. With character, one does not need a reputation. And something that my dad said to me years ago. And what it means is that when you are your authentic self, you never have to pretend to be something else. You are going to draw people to you regardless of what you don't have or what you do have. You are the magic. You are the wisdom. You are the connect. That's what you have to remember, and nothing else. So if the people around you are balling and you're not, but you're still in that inner circle, there's something you got they can't figure out, or there's something you have that they can't get. That's your superpower. That's the thing that everybody wants, that they can't get, so they pretend to be it. Don't pretend. Be you. Love you. Remember, you got one life to live, and at the end of this, we all die. Don't get to a point where you look back at what you should have done or could have done and regret it because you were playing catch up to the Joneses. Become the Joneses so that people can aspire to be like you, because your character leads, and that's how people become free from the obligation of pretending to be something they're not. Stay woke. We out.